name is Michael Rowley, President and CEO of Stillwater Critical Minerals. Very glad to be here on the Crux interview today at the Quebec City Mining Show. Stillwater Critical Minerals has half the Stillwater complex shared alongside Sibanye. We're very pleased to bring globally significant resources of 10 critical minerals, exactly what America is looking for right now, to a district that's currently producing and is past producing. We brought top talent over from Ivanhoe to accomplish this, and we're very much looking forward to growth this year and into the future.
Aren't we all, Michael? Good to see you, sir. Enjoying the conference?
Very much so, thank you.
Yeah, busy, right?
Very good show. Yeah.
A lot of strategic investors here. I think that's the thing for me. Not just investors, but strategics looking to pick things up in this kind of wonderful environment we find ourselves.
Yes.
Now we just got to work out how to take advantage of that. Right, okay. We're going to hear about your story today. We haven't caught up for a while, so a few things changed along the way, including your name.
Yes, we've changed from Group 10 Metals to Stillwater Critical.
Yeah.
No change of stock. It simply reflects the focus on the Montana asset.
Yeah.
That really is a career maker, a company maker. If ever I've seen one, it was the time to focus on it.
Right.
We do have the 4 other projects. You and I have talked about them in the past.
Yeah.
They're effectively for sale in some capacity now as we focus in Montana.
On this, okay. So Montana in the US, executive orders being signed left, right, and center. The intent from the US government is being made very clear. You're in the right place at the right time?
We're absolutely in the right place at the right time. Our district has produced critical minerals since long before they were critical. Chrome in the 40s and 50s with US government subsidies, very interesting. Chrome, actually, there's a beautiful chrome adit. When you come to our site, you'll see a lovely old adit log cabin from copper mining back in the day, high-grade copper.
Right.
And then Sibanye right next door, literally half a kilometer from us underground, actively mining critical minerals now with government support.
Right. I mean, obviously, Sibanye had a bit of a rough time in the last 5 years or so. They're sort of cleaning up their balance sheet and sorting out their portfolio, but they're hard at it in Montana, isn't it?
Yes, they've substantially closed the Stillwater mill mine. That's one of the 2 in the district. They've kept the East Boulder mine, the one closest to me actually, running at 90% is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
It's palladium prices. They are palladium rich.
Yeah.
We have a more diversified commodity suite than them, also wider mining widths.
Yeah.
They're basically running with palladium prices.
Right.
When palladium prices soared, they were doing very well. They expanded operations in South Africa and also in Montana, and now they're rolling back a bit.
Right. Okay. Let's kind of maybe just kind of strip it back and say, at the heart of the idea that you've got is to what? Sort of pick up land in and around Sibanye Stillwater's operating mine, right? That's the idea.
Sure.
To what end?
Yes. Well, our credo is a district scale acquisition in the bear market. But nobody wants this stuff. Producing companies are dropping good projects because they have to focus on dividends, returns to shareholders. In our case, it was Beartooth Platinum that was there before us, did good work.
Yeah.
A lot of our team is from Beartooth Platinum.
Right.
They had a lot of the ground that we now have. They dropped it after a bankruptcy.
When was this?
It was 2008, you really see them start to struggle. But 2013, everything has dropped.
Right, okay.
And that's when our geophysicist, Justin Madrot, started acquiring claims there.
Right.
And that was our connection in. It's still the mining law of 1872 in America. You need a local insight.
Yeah.
And that has been for us, Justin, and then Mike Butch Austinson after him as well.
No, I guess what I'm intrigued by here is there's a couple of ways you can come at this. Pick up land in and around a big balance sheet corporate and hope that they come and say that you're either irritating us or exciting us. Either way, we're buying you.
Yeah.
But that takes a bit of time. Or you paint a picture of being able to kind of build this out yourself, right? So let's focus on the latter bit. What are you doing to understand what you've got? You talk about, okay, we've got more than just platinum. We've got a bit more of an exciting mix here. So how do you display that to the world?
Thankfully, there are really good examples from South Africa. All we're doing is applying Bushveld thinking to the Stillwater complex. There's similar rocks, there's similar ages, there's similar layered magmatic systems.
Yeah.
The parallels have been there for time immemorial. In fact, the JM Reef that Sibanye is now mining was actually found by direct application from the Bushville. It's in the same place as the mighty Marinsky Reef.
Right.
All we're doing is pursuing those lower regions, the Platte Reef setting as we call it. And that is where you find the Mogalakwena mine in South Africa, biggest nickel mine in South Africa, Anglo's cash cow since 1993. And now most recently Ivanhoe's Platte Reef mine. And that's why it's so significant that we attracted that talent from Ivanhoe. And that's why you see in our models of the past year, we finally modeled the lower Stillwater complex in detail. No one's ever done that.
Right.
This is big, bulk mineable stuff. We have high grade within mid grade, within that bulk tonnage grade. We have what would make Sibanye, I think, economic. We've obviously not wrapped a PEA around it yet. That's coming. We have attracted the attention of Glencore on that basis. I don't think we mentioned this up front, but they're a 15.4% shareholder. They've written 2 checks to date to be part of us.
Right.
They're on the board. They're on the technical committee. This is going the right direction.
Right. Okay. Let's talk about what you spent, what you've done, and obviously clearly to what end. You're starting to explain that. So, how much money have you pumped into this particular project?
Acquisition and exploration to date.
Yeah.
I don't actually have the current. I mean, it's something like 15 million.
That's sort of quantum. Okay.
Yeah.
Somewhere. Right. Okay.
And we're a 63 million Canadian market cap.
Yeah. Okay.
So it is working. The market is with us. Finally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I just sad times for metals generally. So
Yes.
you'd hope so, and obviously what's going on with the EOs. What if, in terms of the drilling? What type of drilling have you been doing? What have you been chasing? And what can you tell us?
We've done 11,000 meters to date ourselves.
Yeah.
And we inherited 29,000 meters of good drilling. So
40,000.
40,000.
From when? How
That
historic is
dates
that?
back to the 40s.
Right. Okay.
A lot of it's in the core shack now.
Right.
AMAX, though, did very good work in the 60s and 70s.
Right.
And when you look at our figures, when you see grid drilling, it was typically AMAX.
Right. And are you reinterpreting all of that data?
Yeah.
Has that been done, or are you doing it?
We've done that.
Done that.
No, that was the relogging exercise that you saw us do in 2019, 2020, 21.
Right. Right.
And then again when Danny joined, because Danny Grobler joining Albie Britz from Ivanhoe, we took another look at that core with fresh eyes.
Yeah.
The point of the past year or two really has been to target the mid-grade and high-grade component within that bulk tonnage.
Right.
This is lower Stillwater complex stuff. We've got 33 kilometers of strike.
Right.
We've got more targets than we know what to do with.
Right.
As Bob Moriarty said, drunk monkeys could drill this project. Everything is mineralized. It's a question of grade.
Yeah.
So Sibanye's JM Reef deposit is contiguous across that entire width. Highest grade palladium platinum in the world.
Right.
In a nickel copper sulfide matrix. Where is the sweet spot within that? And with the $7 nickel price, that's what we're focusing on. And that's why the MMT images that you see in my centerfold here are so relevant. That is us targeting the grade.
Okay, well, let's look at that. 'Cause I'm interested in the 4Y and who you're trying to talk to. Are you trying to talk to and signal to Sibanye, look, we think we can help? Or what you're going to have to do as a junior is obviously talk to the market and explain to them whether there's some kind of monetization event in the mid to long term on this. So when you're chasing this kind of mid to high grade bulk, what exactly does that mean in terms of dollars per ton? I mean, how are you quantifying that?
Right. Well, if you look at our bulk tonnage scenario, we're well over $50 per ton US gross value of the rock. And that's the 1.6 billion pounds nickel, copper, cobalt, 3.8 million ounces PGEs in gold.
Yeah.
In the bulk tonnage scenario, you cut that in half and you get 0.51% nickel equivalent, about 120 million tons in the mid grade. You go about a 1/12 of that down to 12 million tons, and you've got a very high grade, attractive 1.05% recovered nickel equivalent.
Right.
That's one of the reasons Glencore likes this project so much.
Yeah.
We have grade within scale.
Yeah.
And then we're polymetallic. We're not beholden to any one commodity price.
Right. And they're coming in pure equity. They're not looking for some kind of offtake, are they?
Not so far, and that's been the
Right.
tricky thing. We've been approached by basically every base metal major that you could name.
Yeah.
And typically they want a project level deal. And the art of being a junior and building a project smartly is to try to keep 100% ownership as long as possible, at least through a PEA stage.
Right.
When you start to really wrap some values around this. And now you kind of know what you got.
Yeah.
We've just hit the spot now where we've got a 10 or 20 year mine life. We've got 40,000 meters drilled. We've got a good handle on what we have. It's an inferred resource.
Yeah.
We definitely need to upgrade that.
Yeah.
We need to wrap PEA level studies around it, and then PFS.
Yeah.
And that is our pitch to the U.S. government: a 3-year program, accelerate this through PFS.
Pitch the U.S. government. I said you're hoping for grants or some kind of incentive from them. Is that available?
This is a marvelous place
Yeah.
to be mining. Montana is absolutely pro-resource.
Yeah.
You've seen pictures in my deck. I've met with both congressmen, both senators, current and past, actually. They're all pro-mining. And the talk of expanding in some form or other what Sibanye is already doing in Columbus has been very well received. The base would be this big South African scale mine that we have,
Right.
potential in southern Montana, in the Stillwater complex.
So they want it, but are they going to help?
Yes,
They are.
definitely.
How?
That remains to be seen. These are
Right.
conversations that are unfolding. It's all acronyms. It's all a little nebulous.
Yeah.
The election timing probably didn't help, and delays on the current budget probably didn't help.
Right.
But I'm hearing all the right things, and it really helps when you can fly your congressman around your project in a helicopter, like you've seen in my materials, like Troy Downing put out on X.
Yeah.
It's been brilliant. It's been a really good engagement.
Yeah. Okay. I guess it's got to start somewhere, right? But helicopter rides and cash are two different things. So that's the development I'd like to see from a politician.
And how do they fund mining projects?
Yeah.
It's usually the DPA, Defense Production Act, Title III, 1950,
Yeah.
Cold War era stuff, which perhaps is telling. That's the pot of money that's usually matching grant funds. And that's where the drilling, metallurgy, PEA funding comes from.
Right.
You've got bigger pots of money that are available maybe from the DOE
Yeah.
for processing and downstream stuff.
Right. Right. Okay. So
And we're going for all of it, and also assisting with permitting and whatever else.
okay. So pro mining, Montana, it's big. We're beside Sibanye, but you're saying right. So move away from the government stuff, but back to Sibanye Stillwater. This kind of feels like you're trying to attract them to please them. I always find these sorts of relationships, they work to their timeline, and you've got to sit waiting patiently to be spied across the dance floor.
Yes.
Yeah, right. So when you say this could meaningfully enhance them, what is their current position, financial or production-wise or grade-wise, which says to you, look, it makes total sense now, not some point in the distant future?
They're producers. They're conservative. They're losing money on every ounce right now.
That's what I want to hear.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I have a great engagement with them.
Yeah.
I've always had that. They've always been respectful, friendly. I think they're now taking us seriously.
Okay.
I think that was the first metric that we had to be not just crazy juniors doing the closology that we were talking about.
Yeah.
Now we've attracted Glencore twice. We've got Ivanhoe people, 2 resources. We're looking robust. The pieces are there, as you said. It's a question of how they fit together.
Yeah.
The conversations are there. I don't think it has to be Sibanye we're working with. It may be Glencore that ultimately builds a mine here. It may be some third party. We're talking to a number of people.
Right.
I think the main thing is that we're in a pro-mining area with terrific resources. And the politicians are recognizing that all the out-of-work miners from the Stillwater mine, the rollback in their operations.
Yeah.
You know, there's political capital there, putting them back to work.
So let's understand some of those moving parts, right? So Sibanye losing money for everything on the stuff they're pulling out of the ground. We won't say by how much. They're going to have to make a commercial decision. Do we just close this thing down, or do we sort of keep up the grade here, which could move us into a different kind of conversation? Glencore thinking, is this economic enough for us to build something ourselves independent of Sibanye, or does Sibanye go under or move away, maybe Glencore step in? I don't know how it works. There's a bunch of optionality.
What we're talking about is big enough they could work together.
Right.
They work together in South Africa already.
That's true. This is true. Okay.
Yeah. And Sibanye is not lacking for grade. They have the highest grade palladium platinum in the world, but it's narrow.
Right.
It's 1.8 meters average
Right.
width. So
you got to
it's
pull it
the
out the
cost
ground
of mining.
economically.
Yeah.
right. So we're all on the same page. We understand what the economics need to look like, and importantly, so do all the players that are currently involved. Working towards this PEA. What's the timeline on that?
Well, I'd like to have done it last year.
Great. When's it going to happen? Is it going to happen this year?
I think by this time next year we will have one. We really want to drill a robust campaign.
Have you started on the PEA?
No.
No. Okay, right. So you got to process. So how much more drilling and how much more data do you need to be able to start putting a PEA together?
I think by this time next year we'll be in good shape for a robust PEA. We want to drill the targets that you've seen in our latest materials. We want to apply the latest model.
Yeah.
Especially that MMT survey that we did with Glencore last year. That was transformational. We understand this much better now.
Oh, go on then. I'm a sucker for a rock. What are we looking at here? Come on.
This is great fun, and I believe your viewers will see this.
We'll pop this up on the screen for people. Yeah.
But the point is this gigantic, highly conductive anomaly.
How long is that
sits? Oh, this is the 20-kilometer spread here. So that's like 15 kilometers of 20.
Yeah.
The point is that we have a few tests in there, but a few only.
Yeah.
This beautiful piece of basal sulfide was taken from in the crescent area over here from within that red anomaly. That's running 0.66 nickel, 0.33 copper. Beautiful pentlandite, chalcopyrite, sulfide.
That's good grades.
Very good grades.
Yeah.
And at the time, didn't know what it meant.
Right. What are we talking about? So what sort of intervals are we talking about?
Oh, this was reported as CC011. Right. And I'll look that up and I'll follow up.
Okay. Yeah, do that.
This one was drilled 10 kilometers away off the west edge of our DR deposit in 2023. This one speaks to how much metal there is in the system and how big and how active this system was.
This one looks good.
This is a late stage pulse of magma that's come in and trained a piece of the JM Reef.
Where are we up here?
Which is technically over a kilometer above us in the layered magmatic system. And then slumped, cooled over millions of years and brought it down.
So what do we reckon's in here?
This is running very nice grades for copper, nickel, and PGEs.
Copper, nickel, and
we'll put them in the video here.
It feels heavy.
Yes.
It feels,
and
it feels
top part
expensive.
Is,
Okay, right. So you've been doing some drilling. So let's get at the timing. Some point next year is a bit vague. So when would you aim to start the PEA process? When would you aim to finish the PEA process?
Because the drills will wrap up in like October.
Okay. Winter
give
is
us a few
coming.
months for the
Okay.
Sure.
Interpret that data and then be able
to
to
resource and
feed that in
on the back of that.
Okay. What's the current resource look like? What's this?
1.6 billion pounds nickel, copper, cobalt, 3.8 million ounces PGEs and gold.
Okay, so it's already big.
Yeah. It's already a 10 to 20 year mine life, depending how you slice it.
Right.
And your questions about are we using Sibania's infrastructure? Are we not? We don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of question that we need to
you'll need
get
to start
into.
Answering. Okay. Well, super exciting opportunity in front of you. The right time looks like the right place. I guess getting a bit more certainty around funding the process of getting the PEA out there, because that'll be good for the market. I suspect your partners don't really carry the way, just given the data, right? But for the market, that'll be a nice thing for them to see. So you'd aim to have at some point, what, Q3, Q4 next year for PEA?
Well, be conservative, say Q3, yeah.
Q3?
Yeah.
Okay, well, look,
I was thinking NQ2, but that's basically Q3. So.
Yeah, okay. Well, look, stay in touch, man.
Great pleasure.
I think it's a bit of an opportunity for you. You get, all the right buzzwords in terms of the metals contained. At quite an exciting time for all of them.
We are the right people in the right place at the right times. We put ourselves in the path of luck. That's the expression that I like. We don't know when it's going to hit, but we're
in it to win it. We're going to have all the cliches going out soon. Good man. Okay, Michael, appreciate your time today. Thank you.
Cheers.